Are we ready?
You're listening to Hollywood on Motorcycle Madhouse on iTunes and all major podcasting platforms.
Hey, and how you guys doing? Welcome to Motorcycle Madhouse Biker Radio. And I hope you guys are having a good day, especially with what is going on right now. And the reason why I bring this up is because later on in the program, we got a story that we're going to be talking about out of Virginia. And we're also going to be talking about a HELLS Angel story today, as well as another one. But first, today, I guess, is a real somber day, as you know, and I usually don't get a lot of political stuff on this program, but because it kind of does pertain to Virginia, the politics of this country. Today, I personally, and I know a lot of you other ones my age and maybe a little younger, but you probably didn't know what was going on back then, we're living through two impeachment things, and that's something that in this country it really was, rare. The first one occurring after the Civil War when Andrew Johnson was impeached, and then, of course, Clinton, which they allege crimes, and he did commit it. He actually admitted it, but because of the partisanship. But the partisanship right now in this country is just out of the window, man. My personal beliefs on the impeachment, because I do get asked that, is I think the government's out of control. I think what happened in the House was a disaster for them come November, because they got a lot of people riled up right now. They're supposed to be there doing our business, and it's always funny. It's always a bunch of lawyers, a bunch of rich people that run this government, and we wonder why we have so much trouble. Yesterday they passed the China deal, and this morning they actually passed USMCA, which I was a big backer of because, a lot of my family are in the steel and the coal industry, and it's a lot of union stuff, and that's really going to help this country out instead of sending it overseas. But this impeachment stuff is just done crazy. I think it's nothing but politics. If you look at the vote, every Republican and a couple Democrats voted against it. It was a partisan thing from the start, and that's really leading this country through some hell. And with what's going on with the left, you can actually see playing out in Virginia. And of course, we're talking about all the gun regulations. They're so adamant about taking away your gun rights, which is in the Constitution under the Second Amendment. And now the governor came out and is trying to ban guns from the Capitol grounds because there's going to be over 100,000 protesters there. So, and then actually West Virginia came out with a resolution saying counties from Virginia can join their state if they're worried about it. Kind of like what they did, after the Civil War. But we're going to be getting in all that news and more on the program today. Hopefully you guys are doing good out there, enjoying the show. We're going to get this sucker rocking right now with some news that you can use. I had to use that one, man. Somebody threw that to me, so I gave him a shout out. They have a story right now. Preliminary hearing set for two charged in HELLS Angel shooting death in South Surrey. And this is by Calvin Power Hooker. I bet you were made fun of when you were a kid with that last name. I don't know how it works up there, but in the United States, we do made fun out of you. And Nathan DeJong. Oh, these are actually the defendants. This is by Aaron Hinks. My fault. My bad. They're both charged with first-degree murder. So I bet when you get in the joint, it's not going to be too happy in there. I changed your name. Anyway, a preliminary hearing has been set for the two young men accused of killing a member of the HELLS Angel in South Surrey last year. Calvin Powery Hooker. There it is, Hooker. And Nathan DeJong, both born in 1998. Man, you're just young kids, man. Are facing first-degree murder charges in connection with the shooting death of Samander Ali Grewell, 43. The last month, the pair appeared individually via video link in Surrey Provincial Court. The two are due back in court on October 5th for a pre-conference hearing. Their preliminary hearing is scheduled for December 7th through the 17th this year. Growl was shot dead at 9:20 August 2nd last year while he was sitting in his Dodge Viper in the South Point Exchange Shopping Center's Starbucks drive-thru, which is shared between Starbucks and Vision Financial in the 3000 block of 152. According to the police, two suspects fled the scene in a vehicle and then on foot. They were arrested later on in the day. And again, that hearing is set for the two with the shooting of a Hell's Angel. Now, shifting gears, and this is a pretty big one, and it's real sad for the families involved. The last defendant in torture murder of Margaret Anderson gets parole, and that was a big thing that happened out at Green Bay back in the 80s. The guy went around calling himself a one percenter, the whole 9 yards. He was convicted and sentenced to life in prison. What they did to this woman is just unforgivable, if you ask me. I can't believe he's getting out of the joint. It was one of the most brutal murders in Green Bay's history. Regarding that, Green Bay, we're going to whoop on them 49ers this year. Hopefully we get past the 49ers, we'll get in the Super Bowl. But anyway, that's according to friends and family of the victim, Margaret Anderson. She was tortured, beaten, and murdered in December of 1983. The following year, Randolph Whiting was arrested and eventually convicted of her murder. 3 other men were involved in this. Mark Lukensmeyer, Mark Hidden, and Denise Stumpner were also convicted of sexual assault charges and have already been released from prison. The lead investigator who finally tracked down Whiting remembers vividly that day he was arrested in Whiting. I know he's been in jail since August 30th, 84. I'll never forget that we had him by Antigo, my fault, recalls the retired police detective. They actually tortured her and beat the hell out of her. That became the big crime scene. He remembers 4 different crime scenes because they brought this poor woman all over the place. They presented themselves as one percenters at the time. There is no proof of that. They did not give any, but I can go back and ask some contacts up in Green Bay through some media outlets that I'm in touch with if this is true or not, if they had any proof of this. He remembers using tab books from the bar to figure out the real names of the suspects who had only gone by handle from the biker clubs which they were associated with. He remembers spending time with the Chicago cops and the gang unit to learn more about the biker clubs and sitting in bars in Northwoods hoping he and fellow investigators would hear something that was said. But as parents put it, it's funny how police work can be. A deputy shopping with his wife at a garage sale spied Randolph Whiting coming out of a trailer on a hot summer day wearing a shirt that revealed a unique tattoo on his arm, leading Perrins and his team to a Langlade County cabin. It was just something else that day, but we got him and he didn't want him shot. I remember telling everyone, please don't, because we wanted to convict him. So after 40 years, he is going to be released. And I think for the last 20, he was denied parole, but he's finally getting his parole, I guess, which he shouldn't. Not in this case. No way. Anyway, at the beginning of the show, I was talking about the government and stuff. And this right here brings up what I'm trying to talk about. The AP. Now, this guy right away, even admitting the last NRA protest was peaceful. Ralph Northam is banning guns from the Virginia Capitol grounds, and wait till you hear about why he's doing it. The AP reports that Democratic leaders have already used the Special Rules Committee to ban guns inside the Capitol and Legislative Office Building. Northam's unilateral declaration will expand the ban and to include the grounds around the Capitol. AP reveals that they were alerted to the coming ban by 2 state officials who were briefed on the plans. Northam's decision comes just days before a January 20th, 2020 pro-Second Amendment rally, which is scheduled to be held on Capitol grounds in opposition to Democrat-sponsored gun controls. Do you know it's funny? They're poking at the Second Amendment sanctuary city or counties, and here they are all over the country. They got the sanctuary cities for illegals. It's real bad in this country's history when illegals get more rights than the actual citizens, and this is what I was talking about with this far left leap. And I'll put it out there, I used to be a blue dog Democrat, man. That's the way the whole state and my family was in West Virginia and Virginia. By the way, I got a lot of family in Virginia. And that is no longer the Democratic Party. What I used to know compared to what it is today, it is nothing but socialist, if you ask me. Now, that's my personal opinion. Probably going to piss on somebody's Wheaties out there, but that's just the way I feel. And a lot of other people feel that way, too. So what they are, there's some, they let loose on a couple of the restrictions, like they were going to try to ban your AR-15s. Can you imagine them doing that? Or are they going to try to ban, guns that were semi-automatic, which is everything out there? Personally, I carry a 357, though. I love 357 snub nose. If you can't hit somebody with a 357 and put them down, you shouldn't have a gun. Anyway, they have some restrictive laws that they want to pass, and I'm so glad to see the people standing up to these guys, because quite frankly, I think it's time for everybody to stop talking and start letting these people hear our voices. Because personally, I'm tired of lawyers and all these rich people running our government. This government's for and by the people. And the politics the last couple years has just been ridiculous. I can go back and say even to the Obama administration was getting pretty stupid. The only time I think alive that I've been alive where I seen the country united was after September 11th. But now you actually got another party who forgot about how many people died that day, not to mention those pictures of the people falling from the World Trade Center. But I guess they got short minds because it's not in their political interest. They actually went out and defended the killing of Soleimani. This guy killed how many of our soldiers? But that's the type of people you got in charge of that party right now. It goes on to say nearly 120 local governments around Virginia have declared Second Amendment sanctuary status, making clear they have no intention of enforcing gun controls they view as unconstitutional. NRA members showed up en masse to Virginia Senate meetings on Monday to protest Democratic proposed gun controls. Some of the gun controls were moderate as well, and one bill which would have banned AR-15s and other guns was withdrawn because they know they're in a dangerous situation in there in Virginia, man. This ain't freaking New York. This ain't Chicago. This ain't L.A. These people ain't playing. And a lot of people are saying, well, Illinois has Illinois sucks. I have to have a void card, the whole 9 yards. But the reason why you don't see these stiff gun control laws is because the downstate Democrats will not vote with the Chicago Democrats because they know they'll lose their job in a heartbeat down in southern Illinois. So that's one thing, New York and California don't have. But Democrats are pushing a ban on high-capacity magazines and suppressors and are seeking to criminalize private gun sales via universal background checks. They also want to require all AR-15 owners to acquire a permit to own their rifle and plan to use permit issuance as a means of building a database with the names of AR-15 owners. Yeah, that is never going to work in this country. They might try to vote it I guarantee they'll be voted out of office, but they're going to have a lot of problems in between of trying to push this stuff. So it's getting there, man. It's really getting there. I believe after Election Day, a lot's going to pop off. You watch. Either side's going to pop, and it's going to get real stupid out there because a lot of people are just tired of it. They're tired of, the cancel culture. If you don't know what that means, go look it up. They're tired of that. They're tired of this freaking PC crap that's being pushed on us. It's like, these kids nowadays couldn't live when, guys my age or older were growing up. They couldn't have done it. They wouldn't have been able to, handle it. And it's doing our country a big disservice. It really is. Big disservice. One of the disservices I think, just look at the 21 or older with the age now that you can buy cigarettes. Our boys can go fight and die for you, but you can't let them drink and all that stuff or smoke. Real freaking intelligent. But keep up on this situation. It comes on the 20th. Let's hope they give them hell down there. And it's time for other states, other counties to start getting involved in this movement, because until these guys are stopped on the left, the right ain't perfect, but damn with the left, man, they're just dumb psychos. So anyway, I wanted to get this out there. This is a friend of the show. He's having a real hard time. You guys know I really don't do much GoFundMe stuff, but he's having a hard time. He's a 1%er out in Texas. It goes on to say, I had an unfortunate bout with my appendix, which turned into 2 major surgeries to clean out my intestines and body cavity. My appendix burst, which caused all this. I am a hardworking man that has a 1 truck and trailer business in the trucking industry. When my truck is not rolling, I'm not generating income. I just need help during my recovery process. Minimum 6 weeks or more, I will be out of work. I normally don't go down this avenue, he says, for help, but at this point I have no choice, and insurance is only covering so much, which, going back to the government, I cannot see how they send, $80 million to another country and our people don't have health insurance. That's, I know it's a politically charged show today, but it's just messed up, and people need to hear it, especially bikers. Right now, he's hospitalized and will be until his system starts properly. His bowels, man, don't say balls. You're gonna get pissed at me, but bowels, not balls. If I said his balls were paralyzed, he'd be pissed, which is preventing me from moving forward. So I am hoping some of you will be compassionate to lend a guy a hand. Thank you in advance. Robert Ray on GoFundMe, if you guys can give him some help out, I know he would appreciate it. He's a good listener to the show and he supports the show. Oh, yeah, before my haters come on about the politics, that is woven within biker rights. A lot of people, you got to start getting involved with ABATE, MRO, and this is just not a club subject, man. Bikers all over the country are being profiled. If you have a story you would like to tell, go over to Motorcycle Profiling Project. They got a survey over there. Get your story in, but that has a lot of politics that you got to get involved with, but I have a lot of...
Dealing with fools and trolls.
I deal with a lot of fools and trolls on this show sometimes, but get into this gun rights stuff, man. Get with your local legislatures and... try to start a sanctuary county. And hopefully one of these days, everything in this country will start settling down a lot better. Don't forget to go over to our Instagram account. It's on Instagram. It's called IGTV. It's built in. I have, mostly nightly fireside chats, a lot of listeners send in their questions. I get answer to those questions. Nice little 5-minute videos, 6-minute videos, maybe up to 10, but you can't go over that because Instagram is not set up like that. Just another platform we're trying to get off the ground. Just started playing with social media more. Real happy with what's going on over on Facebook. Almost 70,000 followers. And, YouTube's going good. We're going to mess with YouTube, but most of all, our bread and butter is motorcyclemadhouse.com. So get over there and listen to us. I know I had one guy say, hey, I pulled over to watch the video. Hey, you know what? Go on motorcyclemadhouse.com and you can listen to us on the radio without getting hurt. So with that, I really appreciate everything. And we're going to be seeing you guys on the next segment of Motorcycle Madhouse.